guys, Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria in Akechi's route. Yay! It's been a couple days since I played because I had to. Now I'm bouncing back and forth between this and Code Realize because I'm behind. So like I don't have time to just record a whole path. So I realized as I was loading this game, I'm like I'm gonna forget all the voices for like our non-standard characters because our standard ones, you get into a habit of doing them, but like other ones, I was like, Porlock, if he's going to show up later, you know he is. I'm like, I don't remember the voice we gave him. It's not important. Our main characters are the important ones, and I have a hard enough time remembering that. My brain is not working properly. Anyway, it was several days later, whilst we lunched, that new events transpired. I was returning to the classroom from the library with a new stack of books in hand. Phew! I'm pleased there were so many good books about Japan, but the combined weight of all this knowledge is rather hefty. Yeah, wait till you try to learn Japanese, girl. Jesus. Akechi's reminiscings about Japan had fallen on fertile soil, and in the intervening days, I chose to begin researching the country and its customs privately. And the more reading I did, the more I found myself appreciating the profundities of Japanese culture. Okay. Why, it was only 2 days past that I learned the difference between Zazen and Seiza. Whatever. I think I know how to pronounce this shit by now, but it's when it's like I say things perfectly fine by myself, but when there's like anyone possibly listening, I'm like I can't pronounce anything. Perfectly fine walking around in my apartment, and if I go for a walk and I'm listening to my Japanese and learning as I'm walking, I whisper it quietly. Probably not as quiet as I think. Anyway. But just as I was about to enter the courtyard, books in hand, I caught sight of two familiar faces. Oh, is that Holmes and Akechi? I was thinking Akechi and Kobayashi, but I was close. Got half of it right. It wasn't as though seeing the two talking together was a particularly rare sight in itself. After all, they did converse in the classroom from time to time, but this time... It's quite unusual for you to wish to speak with me alone. Perhaps so, but there's something I need to ask you. What's going on? They seem different than usual. I couldn't help but notice a certain tension that hung in the space between them. While I confessed to feeling a certain guilt at listening to their conversation, I simply couldn't suppress my curiosity and concealed myself behind a nearby pillar so as to better hear them. I want to know too, so like what if? It's about the owner of the agency that's been employing the services of yourself and Kobayashi. What do you want to ask about Dejar? I'll cut straight to the point. Do you honestly believe him a man worthy of your trust? I'm not certain what you're getting at. Recently, I've heard some rather unsavory rumors. In specific, that there have been, among those who have donated large sums of money to churches or workhouses, some whose behavior has taken on a rather dubious aspect. Dubious? The purchasing of illegal drugs beneath churches for their own profit, or dragging poor children from the slums and workhouses for conscription into suspicious organizations, for example. Well, of course, all I have to go off is hearsay and speculation, but that such crimes are happening in London is beyond doubt. You can read about them in the papers. Yes, the kids being kidnapped. Whoops, hold on. I don't want that on, thank you. And the owner of the agency where you're employed is among those who donates exorbitant sums to a church. So... Churches are evil! That's what Holmes is saying. I'm just saying. I agree. What? Nothing. He would never... Akechi interrupted Holmes before he could even finish, his voice tense. But you had suspicions about him too, so... Just saying, Akechi. Holmes, you cannot mean to tell me your suspicions were aroused by an act of charity to a church. It brings me no joy to dwell upon it, but it's in the shadows of such kindness that such crimes have been perpetrated, hidden from the eyes of the law. Dejar would do no such thing. How can you be so sure? For all you know, we may well just be using the two of you. I don't know, I kind of side with Holmes on this one, but... Holmes, and there are some things that ought not to be said, even by you. Akechi's tone intensified, laced with an uncharacteristic anger. Interesting. All my life, I've been supported by the kindness of others. Most have turned me away, but that small number who did not are the ones who have allowed me to come as far as I have. Since I lost my mother as a young child, I've been striving to my utmost to gain recognition from those around me, and no matter how often others held me to be pitiful or unwanted, I simply gritted my teeth and continued pressing forward. This just, God, it's such a sad little life. Oh, you just want to hold, oh, you poor thing. Oh my God. My own family left me to be raised by another. Perhaps a blessing in disguise, as it was absent their support that I met a man in whom I could truly place my trust. My master. But after doing what I believed to be right, even he turned his back on me. This poor thing! Did you just want to, like, hold him and let him cry? You're like, it's okay. It's okay to cry. Akechi, you just cry all you want. Akechi spoke with a quiet, rising intensity, but I could hear his voice quaver ever so slightly. I had but one option left to me, to continue following that path in which I firmly believed, to press on and on until at last I win for myself a place where I truly belong. Unlike you, who lives the life of a detective without so much as a brush up with hardship, I've paid in sweat and toil to get where I am. Here, as in Japan, I've been able to keep pushing forward thanks to the kindness of a precious few good souls. Someone like you, blessed with every advantage, has no right to look down upon or deny all that I've worked so hard to obtain. I'll not allow it. I'd never heard him sound so pained before. Akechi, I was transfixed, unable to move from where I stood. I'll not deny the difference in our upbringings, and it follows that the courses of our lives would lead us to think in different ways as well. But tell me, are you truly allowing yourself to be mastered by your emotions? That's unlike you. Is it? Do you know what else is unlike me? Doubting the goodwill of others. If that's all you wish to ask me, I shall take my leave now. But I thought they had suspicions about him too, but, you know, maybe he's still in denial, or he's like, how dare you? I mean, yeah, you're right, but like, how dare you still? Maybe he doesn't want to admit it. I don't know. Or they have suspicions about something else. I don't know. Before the words had even left his mouth, Akechi turned and began walking away. Oh dear, what should I do? He's coming right this way. Start walking and pretend you just walked by. Oh, hey, Akechi, what's up? Hey, what? Hi. Realizing I would surely be spotted if I stayed where I stood, I leapt out from behind the pillar, only to find myself staring him squarely in the face. Yeah, she should have like kind of backed up a little and like walked and pretended she was just walking past. Akechi, what a surprise! Miss Whitley. I could tell he was taken aback, stunned, nearly speechless by my unexpected appearance. What are you doing here? Did you hear all of that? All of what? He seemed to deduce the answer for himself from my nervous behavior without having to wait for my reply. The expression he wore was full of more sorrow than I had ever seen in him before. I'm so sorry, Akechi. You were the one person I would have most wished not to hear that. Oh, I don't want you to hear my sad, pitiful story. Why? But that makes us love you more. That's why you don't want us to feel sorry for you. You want us to think you're a proud nobleman. Oh, come on. It's okay. I'll hold you while you cry. It's fine. Like, you poor thing. That's probably not. Men are probably like, what? No, I don't want you to think I'm poor and sad. But it's okay to cry, dudes. Dudes, it's okay to cry. Like, it's okay. It's okay to wear pink. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be a little feminine. It's fine. It's fine. Simmer down. Like, Akechi turned his back to me, hanging his head. I felt my chest tighten at the sight. Just hug him. Unable to resist my impulse, I began to run toward him. Oh, wait, Akechi! Come no closer. He swung his hand out as though to ward me off, but instead struck my own arm. Damn, Akechi, what the fuck? And as my grip faltered in that moment, the stack of books I had been holding went tumbling to the floor. Oh. No doubt he had no intention of making physical contact, for I had never seen him look so flustered, yet he doesn't know how to touch girls. I mean, sure, he says that, but he's grabbing our boobs, right? Just kidding. That's the funniest fucking thing I think that's happening. He's like, ah! Like, oh, because it's like back in the day where that was more inappropriate. I mean, still inappropriate to grab a girl's boobs now, but like most guys would be like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but wouldn't be like ah about it, like they were literally going to catch on fire. But you know, it's just funnier because a cage is like ah, like it's going to catch on fire, and you're like, dude, it's okay, it was an accident. Like it's fine. But she's all, oh, I've been violated. Girl, it was an accident. Simmer down. That scene is still in my head. It's funny. Anyway, I'm so sorry, Miss Whitley. Are you all right? I thought I heard a commotion, though I wasn't expecting to find you at its center, Miss Whitley. What need have you of all these books on Japan? Nothing! Holmes! Holmes bent down and began to pick up some of the books from the floor. Just as he had begun, however, the hand Akechi had extended to me stopped. I suppose you ran into Akechi and dropped your reading material? A foible characteristic of you, of course. But seeing as they're the library's property and not your own, denting and dirtying them would constitute property damage, you know. You know what, Holmes? Stop being a dick! Yes, that's right. I can't believe I failed to notice him right in front of me. I really do need to be more careful. She's so cute. She's like, really? Because he didn't just, like, slap them out of my hand. You didn't worry, Akechi. I'm not hurt at all. I did my best to put forth as cheerful a front as I could, in the hopes that he wouldn't realize how shaken his repelling swing had made me. Excuse me. Oh. He turned his back once more, and without another word walked away. I need to go after him. Still, the first time, I'd been desperate to pursue him, but having been spurned by him once already, my own fear fixed me to the spot. I couldn't bring myself to move an inch, or even retrieve the books that lay scattered around me. Miss Whitley, it seems to me that hefting this many books at once was rather overambitious of you. Allow me to carry them to the classroom. But first, you ought to tend to your face. My face? Have you not noticed? You look terrible. My, the schoolmates certainly can prove a troublesome lot, can't they? The two of you are shining examples of that. Oh, my schoolmates. What? Holmes, do you think Akechi hates me? If you wish to know the answer, go and ask him yourself. But I'm too scared. So there are things that cause even you to quail. Honestly, the two of you really are the hopeless sort. Holmes's words proved cold comfort, but he was kind enough to carry my stack of books for me as he had offered. And he's a gentleman, I mean, Jesus. That day, after school, I returned to the mansion, but from there set out again for the streets of Bishopsgate. I could only assume my gloom had been writ clearly upon my face, for Pendleton, who had escorted me hence by carriage, expressed his concern. Thinking on what had happened still caused my heart to ache, but far more dreadful was the prospect of doing nothing at all, of succumbing to the desolation of my soul. Sequestering myself and turning over what happened will do me no good. I need to see Akechi and apologize for eavesdropping like I did. But if he sends me away... Just as my malaise threatened again to overtake me, I saw a familiar figure in the distance. That's Dejar? He was crossing the road ahead of me and looked to be in a hurry. I thought to call out to him, then stayed my tongue, recalling what Holmes had said earlier that day. Well, yeah, follow him and then find out he's being shady, and then tell Akechi, because that'll make him not hate you. You saw how he reacted to Holmes telling him that he thought that Dejar was doing shady shit, and he was like, yeah, that sounds awesome! I bet you're right, bro! So I bet if you tell him that Dejar really is doing something shady, it'll look real great. I mean, that was sarcasm in case you couldn't get it. I'm just, because I don't have sarcasm font to turn on for you. Like, I mean, seriously, girl, don't get involved. Don't mess with this shit. Anyway. Recently, I've heard some rather unsavory rumors. In specific, that there have been, amongst those who have donated large sums of money to churches or workhouses, some whose behavior has taken on a rather dubious aspect. The purchasing of illegal drugs beneath churches for their own profit, or dragging poor children from the slums and workhouses for conscription into suspicious organizations, for example. Of course, all I have to go off is hearsay and speculation, but that such crimes are happening in London is beyond doubt. You can read about them in the papers. How can you be so sure? For all you know, he may well just be using the two of you. It's like really weird to reenact the whole conversation with only half of it, but it defies belief that Dejar could be that sort of person. But if the unlikely should prove to be true, it would mean he really is using Akechi and Kobayashi. A pervasive sense of unease hung over me, knowing that Akechi and Kobayashi would pay a dear price if Dejar truly was the kind of person Holmes seemed to believe. I truly hope I'm wrong, and yet I can't shake this feeling. That Holmes is right, because he usually is. Taking care that he didn't notice me as I trailed well behind him, I followed Dejar's trail. Maintaining my steady pace, I found myself gazing up at his destination, St. Spira Church. Could this be the very same that Dejar has made all those donations to? I knew that if I took my eyes off him even for a moment, I would lose sight of him, a circumstance I wished to avoid at all costs. Isn't Pendleton with you? Rather than entering into the church from the front, he instead took a narrow path that wound behind it. What business would compel him to go not into the church, but to its rear? Maybe he's meeting with somebody in the church for a tryst. I mean, maybe they just like people that are a little bit older than altar boys. I'm just saying, you don't know, right? I mean, let the man have his kinks. He's probably kidnapping children and selling them. That's not what we're talking about. I'm just like, look, that is wrong. That's not acceptable. So, the path he had trod terminated in a single unremarkable shed. A dead end. Where could he have gone into this single unremarkable shed? Oh, the wall. The magic wall. Careful not to make so much as a sound, I carefully nudged the shed's door open. A first glance revealed nothing out of the ordinary. A standard storage shed, replete with boxes and dark corners, and bedecked with spider webs and dust. I like to bedeck with dust. I'm going to use that. My apartment is just bedecked with dust. It's my decorating scheme. It's my aesthetic, okay? Dust. It's like the new thing. It is. That's what I'm going to start saying, just so that I don't have to dust often. However, one particular detail caught my eyes. I noticed that one particular part of the door was wholly free of dust, a marked contrast from the rest. A careful inspection of that section of the floor... Did she say floor and I read door? No, I noticed that one particular part of the door... A careful inspection of that section of the floor revealed a hidden door that could be lifted to reveal an entrance. I think they meant a piece of the floor was now... Cautiously, I grasped the handle and opened it. Yeah, that's smart! Goddamn. A staircase. Does it lead beneath the church? Did Jean make his way down through here? You don't know where this is going, and you don't know if there's any other exit, and you're gonna walk downstairs into a fucking trap. Oh my god. Why are you stupid? I need to investigate. No, you don't! You need to tell Holmes and Watson, someone else that can do, and not get your girl. No, my god, you're gonna get kidnapped. You're gonna get fucking murdered. Oh, dear god. See, this is why I have not gotten kidnapped or murdered yet, because I might have followed, if I had followed the guy into the shed. First of all, I'm popping in the shed, and someone's gonna find you, then you see a stair, you're like, and I'm not going down that motherfucking thing. Nope. Why, when a person with a windowless white van comes up and tells me they got puppies in the back, I'm like, that's a load of bullshit, dude. And I bet you don't have candy either. Actually, I know the strangers have the best candy. But, but, I mean, puppy, bullshit, you got a puppy or a bike in the back. Candy, maybe. I'll hop in that fucking van, but just kidding. I'm kidding, kids. Seriously, don't get in strangers' vans, even if they do have the best candy. They definitely don't have puppies or bikes. Just saying. Seriously, though, don't get in strangers' van. Even if they offer you the best candy. Still uneasy, I summoned my courage and made my way down the stone staircase to the subterranean chamber. She's so dumb. This is going to turn out great. Having taken great pains to make not a sound during my descent, I at last reached the bottom of the stairs. This is... Oh, this is and with Watson, and she's gonna... and this is probably why there's a certain order, because you're getting a little bit more into the story, right? Because you get a little bit... I'm surprised, though, because I would have thought... Well, no, actually, the canon path is the Baker Street Boys ending, where you're not in love with anybody. So I don't like that. But that's because it, I guess, hints at a possible, sequel. Which would be awesome! We know we like the fan discs! We like revisiting characters. I love it. But, having a route order is... Well, first of all, you can't do Lupin or Jack until you've at least done one of the other ones. But it makes sense, because if you did this and then you did Holmes, you're like, well, what about the church thing? But now this is slowly, because, it kind of showed up in Watson's a little bit. And then, but you kind of already know, okay, we're going to get a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. You're going to get, slightly different things, but I bet they're all going to tie together, Anyway. The sight that unfolded before my eyes threatened to draw the very breath from my lungs. Is this some kind of ritual? What are so many children doing here? They're here so that the people in the church can kill them and then summon Sebastian, who's going to be an amazing butler for you and me and Pendleton. It's going to be like a great threesome. What? Nothing? I just want to look at two pretty butlers, don't you? You're just like, yeah. I just... That's my fanfic right there. Can you just imagine? I want to cross over with Pendleton and Black Butler. That's what I want. I just want to see what would happen. God, could you just, the sass. The fucking sass level that would come out of Pendleton and Sebastian fight, like arguing with the sass. Oh! I just want to listen to that conversation. It's so good. You can imagine it, right? It's great. Anyway. I blanched at the feeling of dread that washed over me, and I just want to question something. Back it up. Beep, beep, back it up. Is this like a thing that happened in old-timey England? Because I'm just saying, right? You got this with, like, there's children and some kind of weird satanic rituals. Wait a minute. And then if you've watched Black Butler, that's very, and you're like, but is this like a thing that happened often enough that it's in a lot of things, or did, like, the people, like, watching this get inspired by, but I'm just asking for, like, you know, my own, for science. You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't it, you're like, this is coming up a little too often for my liking right now to be like, in old timey, there was a lot of children kidnapping and murder for weird ritualistic purposes. Is that a thing? Was that a thing? It probably was a thing. I don't remember. I took a British history class and an Irish history class, and I just don't remember this shit, but I'm just saying, it seems like it was a thing, and it's a little fucking weird. Of course, we hunted and burned people at the stake for being witches, too. So, I mean, I guess. Okay. People are fucking crazy. Anyway. I blanched at the feeling of dread that washed over me, for I stood upon the unhallowed ground of the very same sort of black ritual whose gruesome details had filled the newspapers of late. A magic circle had been drawn upon the floor, and was now surrounded on all sides by what appeared to be destitute children. This is now the time to get the fuck out of there. Oh. And now fight! Kill! Body upon body! Limb upon limb! And show to spellbound the true measures of your merit! Is that Dejar? Run, bitch. I barely recognized the Dejar I saw standing near the magic circle. So wild and hollow in his aspect seemed in the... So wild and hollow his aspect seemed in the wan light. What's wrong? This is a sacred rite! There's naught you need to fear! Take up your duty and spill the blood of the sacrifice! His voice trilled as though taken in the pangs of ecstasy. In one of his raised hands, he clutched an orange and black mask, its shape that of a tiger's face. Oh, God. So is he the magician guy that's luring him in? I mean, he works for Spellbound. We figured that out, but within the circle, two children stood facing one another. Oh, my God. It's like a dog fight, but it's a child fight. It's like, you know that there's like dog fighting rings and stuff, but you've never, and now when they do the child fighting ring, you're like, you know, I never imagined that, and now I just wish I never knew this existed. Also wish dog fighting, I wish I didn't know that existed, but each clutched a knife in their small hands, knuckles white. The sight seemed surreal to me. Don't get in, don't run, Spacey! They couldn't! Spacey, get the fuck, she's gonna jump in and she's gonna get stay. Oh, God, damn it, girl, get the fuck out of there and get help. Okay, I understand that we don't want any of the kids to have to kill another kid, but bitch, you need to run! And Scotland Yard! Woo woo! Rape whistle, girl, something. I don't know, get the fuck out of there. They couldn't. The disturbing scene played out before me, set my teeth on edge. Get the fuck out of there while they're occupied. The figures surrounded the circle, adults and children alike, seemed overcome with euphoria as they shouted at the two boys who now faced off. What's going on? This is wicked, the basest depravity. And the smell, some vapor is inducing lightheadedness. Get the fuck out of there. Go. Though I could not identify its source, a smell that pervaded the atmosphere of that infernal den began to play upon all my senses. Oh, God. Bringing me to doubt whether this present scene was truly real. Dizziness, Jesus, then took a hold of me, and I placed my hand against the wall to steady myself. Just as I began to regain my footing, loud cries burst forth from the crowd, reverberating up and down the hall. This is when you get the fuck out! Oh! She's stressing me out! Are you stressed? I'm stressed out. She's gonna get... Oh, God, get out! Oh, God, get out! You're gonna get caught. Oh, my God. And you could get help. Go, run, get help, get out. Oh, God. Seriously, I'm tense. Like, what are you doing? That's it. Cut his throat. No, straight through the heart. Go on. Go on. I couldn't bear to watch for a single second more. You shouldn't have watched this long. I need to hurry. They must know about this place. If Akechi and Kobayashi end up being taken here... just as I turned to flee back the way I had come. Fucking told you. I was grabbed from behind, my nose and mouth smothered by a cold cotton cloth. No sooner had I felt its touch than my vision began to blur. My consciousness slipping from me. Stupid! If you had left 2 seconds... Ah! I told you she was gonna get fucking kidnapped. Why is she so dumb? She's sassy, but she's stupid. I struggled as best I could, wriggling and kicking. Of course, Akechi would have nothing to rescue if we weren't stupid, so, I mean, we gotta make him feel like a man at some point, right? Because, you know, he says his sob story, and we're like, oh, you poor thing, and he's like, no, I need to come rescue you, and you're like, but then can I hold you? And you cry, because, anyway. I struggled as best I could, wriggling and kicking, but the sum of my strength was as effectual against the arms restraining me as wind howling against a mountain. Is this a drug? No, can't be caught. Not here. Should have thought about that 5 minutes ago. Must tell Akechi. Maybe he's already there. Oh, could you imagine? I'm sorry. We already know Lupin is a thief. And we know Jack is a murderer. And you're like, Akechi is so... Oh my god, he's involved in the child fighting ring! Shit. We're so invested in this. It would be so hard. You would be like, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I love you. Oh, God, the guilt in my soul now. Could you fucking imagine? Could you imagine? Jesus. Anyway. Against the power of that terrible chemical, my determination failed me, and my consciousness slipped away into the dark abyss. Good fucking Lord. So, Lady Spacey did not visit you then? Correct. Neither of us seen her since school let out for the day. I see. She told me she intended to pay you a visit, so I thought that's where she would have gone. It was clear something was weighing upon her, however. I had assumed she had some matter she was to wish to discuss with the two of you. The day that Pendleton came to call upon Akechi and Kobayashi, Spacey had been uncharacteristically absent from classes due to illness. They later learned from Pendleton, however, that Spacey was in fact missing, and last seen making her way to the office where they worked. Pendleton! You disappoint me. I came here, like, day one. Like, okay, it's Tuesday, right? So I show up. Hey, what's up? It's Tuesday. I'm here. And I go missing, and you don't show up till fucking Wednesday? Pendleton! 5 minutes after you should have... Pendleton, okay, letting me have my freedom but if I didn't come back later that night, you should have been, like, busting down the door being like, where the fuck is she, bitches? Pendleton, why did you wait so long to look for me? I could be dead, Pendleton. I could be fucking dead. Pendleton, I trusted you with my soul and my life, and this is how you repay me? That's music. I'm serious, though, Pendleton. What the fuck? Anyway. They later learned from Pendleton... Okay, we already read that. Where they were... Okay, blah, blah, blah. Well, should the two of you happen to recall anything else that may help in locating her, please let me know. I implore you. I failed in my duty. You did, Pendleton. You failed me, but I still love you. With a nod, Pendleton left the office. It was on a Oh my god, I really... Oh, dude, I did not read ahead, I swear. I'm just guessing. It was on a Tuesday when Pendleton last saw her, too. One of the 2 days each week that Dejar disappears. Kobayashi, you weren't suggesting that he may be somehow involved in her disappearance, are you? That's the only premise that makes sense to me right now. What other reason might there be for Spacey to have set out to visit us but never have arrived? As for me, I intend to head to St. Spirit Church, with or without you. What'll you do, Akechi? You better fucking go. Look, Pendleton let me down. What are you motherfucking boys has better, like... I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Kobayashi coming to help me is awesome, but, like, I need Pendleton or like, if Pendleton's gonna let me down, Akechi, you better fucking lift me back up. Just saying. It's like, one of you bitches has to be here for me. What, I gotta rescue my fucking self? I didn't get myself into this mess to have to rescue myself. I did it so one of you menfolk would come rescue my ass. God. That's why you gotta learn to be an independent woman, ladies. I'm just saying. Kick-ass, take names, save yourself. Because Pendleton didn't know we were missing for like a day. That's rude. Rude, Pendleton. You know what it is? He was like, I'm going to ignore her for a day, just so that she misses me, and she'll come to me. And then when I didn't, he's like, oh God, she's actually missing. Like, you tried to teach me a lesson, Pendleton. That's why you never try to teach people a lesson. Anyway, how long have I been here? What time is it? What day? It's been years. They're like, it's been 5 minutes. Chill out, chick. Locked in a dark cell, I found it impossible to accurately mark the passage of time. My only means of approximating how long had passed was the number of times the guards brought me bread and water. It'd be funnier if they brought you bread and water they just randomly did it. So you're like, it's been 2 hours already? They're like, it seems like they come every 2 hours. And they're like, we just come every 2 minutes, but we make her think it's 2 hours. And then we wait 6 hours, and then we go back in an hour, and then we go back 30 minutes later, and then we go back 2 days later. We fuck them all up. I'm just saying, if I kidnapped people and locked them in a basement, I'd fuck with them like that. I wouldn't do it on the regular. Because then they know. Then there's a set pattern. They can tell the passage time. You want to fuck with the people that you got trapped in a basement, right? I watch too many criminal shows. Wow. That's disturbing. I might need to go get some therapy. Listening to the guards converse, I had gathered that underground area in which I was being held was replete with children carefully funneled in from workhouses and the poorest districts of the city. They make you work in a circus, pour things, and build you limbs out of other children's bones. Ugh. I'm sorry, there's just a lot of Black Butler references in my head reading this part. It's freaking me out a little. It's not really freaking me out, but I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it's too much. It's too much coincidence here. Workhouses are supported through donations and national aid. I can't believe the blight of corruption would have taken root even in such public facilities. That's where the corruption starts. There's as much corruption in the public as there is in the private. I'm just saying. Corruption. Death, taxes, and corruption. 3 constants in life somewhere. I had thus far pieced together that the children here were to be taken abroad to serve as soldiers for the organizations, likely in the British colony of Hong Kong. Worse still, they're planning to ensure no evidence remains of what happened here by putting the entire place to the torch. They're going to burn the church? That seems a bit extreme. I cannot let them get away with that. But trapped here as I am, what can I do? You're just going to be married off, and you're going to be a sex slave now. Oh my God, they're going to sell you as a sex slave. Oh, sweet Jesus, this is horrifying. At this rate, I would either be killed so as to prevent me from revealing what I knew, or taken abroad with the others. Yeah, but as a sex slave. You got blonde hair and blue eyes, honey. They're going to sell your ass. In either case, I'd be unable to get a message to anyone I knew. You better hope they kill you. That's like, you'd be like, please just murder me. I don't want to be a sex slave. What am I to do? What's going to happen to me? I just told you. You know what? It's fine if you didn't hear me. Actually, her hair's kind of pinkish, but it's supposed to be blonde. There's a chance that Keiichi could be made into a pawn in this scheme somehow. I need to let him know all of that's happening, but there seems to be no escape for me. And that's why Dejar wanted them, because they're fucking Asian. So he's like, it was obviously the Asian kids. Whoa, that's so douchey. That's horrible. Oh, God, the racistness in this game. The racism in this game. The racistness. This is just appalling. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't believe this. Anyway, I did my best to suppress my gnawing sense of unease, but it crept to the surface once again, and the next moment I felt tears stream down from my cold cheeks. Again. I mean, Pendleton will come save her up. Pendleton's fucking amazing. So, they said some manner of drug, crystal, they called it, was being burned here. It's supposed to heighten one's emotions, to weaken their sense of fear. When even the slightest pangs of loneliness or hopelessness settled upon me, I found myself crying. If ever there was a less convenient time to cry, I could scarcely name it. At work. I wiped my tear-stained face with my arm, as though hoping to likewise banish my sorrows. Maybe if you scream and cry, they'll come, and then you start kicking ass, taking names, punch them in the nuts. You know, I'm just saying, men don't know how to deal with a crying woman. They're like, what? She's crying. I don't know what to do. What the fuck? It's crying. What do I do? And then, you know. Yeah. Unlock your cage and kick him in the nuts really hard and run. I mean, it might get you killed, but again, that's better than being a sex slave, is all I'm saying. Meanwhile, above ground, you got priorities. And you might actually escape, and then that would be better, right? Akechi and Kobayashi stood in St. Spirit Church. Their gazes were fixed on a single man who stood motionless within the chapel. What do you make of him, Akechi? His behavior is highly suspect. I doubt he's here to worship. I'm never moving from that spot, frequently scanning the room. Strange behavior for a parishioner, but perfectly in line with what one would expect of a sentry. What should we do? Wait a bit long. No, I'm done waiting. Yeah, his love for me. Yeah. Pendleton, you failed. What? Kichi, wait a... Kobayashi tried in vain to hold him back. Well, he's definitely not a parishioner if he's cult member A. The man had taken notice of Akechi and began moving to intercept him, but with a few swift motions, Akechi had locked the man tightly in a restraining hold. You're those kids from Dejar's! How'd you find out about this place? So, Dejar really is involved! The door is Dejar. I mean, ajar. What? I know, that was lame. I'm sorry. I had some cookies earlier, so I'm like on a sugar high. Anyway. Now, I'd very much like to hear a concise summary of what's happening here, and you seem able enough to furnish that information. Akechi tightened his hold on the man. Eek! Resorting to violence would not be my preferred choice. However, if she's been caught up in this, I'll do what I must. Oh, how noble and beautiful. That's it. You know what? Pendleton obviously was like, I'm just gonna let her get kidnapped, and then I'll go, and I'll be like, oh, she's missing Akechi, save her. Oh, and then he'll go save her, and it'll be beautiful. Oh, Pendleton, you did this for me. I still don't necessarily forgive you, because I could have been smuggled off to some other country and been sold to someone as their like wife and their whore or whatever, or I could have been murdered in the 24 hours you waited. But I mean, I guess it's gonna all work out, so I can forgive you. Oh, dear God. Anyway, I couldn't tell how much time had passed. The only certainty was the slowness of its passage. But after once more wiping away the tears that fell heedless of my own will, I don't know who's... I'm assuming it's either Akechi or Kobayashi, but anyway, you den of cowards! How could you stoop so low as to use children as shields? I don't know who it is, so just gonna read normal. Don't make me laugh! What need have I to deal fairly with a monkey like you? Okay, it's definitely one of them, but... I can't believe you really went into the mirror room. You're either painfully brave or painfully stupid. Did you say want or wait? You really went into the mirror room. Wait, I know that voice. Now going to keep the rats company. They'll be glad to share the space with another animal. Gah! Yeah. The voices had drawn quite close, and I peered out in time to see someone being kicked into the cell beside mine. And for a moment, I was stunned into silence at the familiar face that met my gaze. Kobayashi! Hurrying to the bars separating our cells, I reached through and clasped his hands in mine. Spacey! So you were captured after all! Are you alright? Have they done anything to you? Well, I mean, I don't know. I was passed out half the time, so... I hope not. I'm fine. But what about you? It's nothing. Nothing at all. Ow! Damn! First I wind up in some strange room with mirrors all over. And when I decided to stand and fight, they paraded their captives before us. Kobayashi staggered as he attempted to stand once more, holding his chest with his free hand. You still could have, like, knocked him out. You don't have to kill the kids, but you could knock them out. It's fine. We split up to have a better chance of fighting you. And now look at me going and getting myself caught like this. Don't! You shouldn't move! What's this, little mousy? Not a peep out of you no matter how many times I try to make conversation. But as soon as your little friend shows up, you're suddenly all talk. Oh, perv. You're like, hey, baby. Just trying to talk to you. Ah! Spacey! Hey, you! Suddenly, the guard grabbed me from behind, pinning me against his chest with all his strength. Ew! He's getting creepy rapey. The aroma of crystal hung thick in the air, and my head felt as though it was going to burst. Let go of me! If you got that much energy, how about you and I have a little fun, shall we? I'll show you a real good time. See, I told you. So creepy. The guard thrust his face up against mine, and I felt the blood turn to ice in my veins. Stop! Come again? I couldn't hear you. Say it again. Scream it to me. I don't like reading this. It makes me feel creepy. Guys! My skin is crawling. It's horrifying. Ah! Oh, I'm assuming this is a Keiichi. It could be Pendleton, but I'm assuming it's a Keiichi because, but hard of hearing that allow me to convey her intentions clearly. Because it's not Kobayashi. Gah! What? In the darkness of the cavern, I heard a familiar voice. The guard's arms loosened their grip and fell away entirely as the man crumpled to the ground. Oh, my hero. Thank God. Oh, thank God. It wasn't enough just for him to show up while we're sitting in a cage like, hey, got myself captured. Oops. He had to come when we were being almost raped. So, just to make it more like, oh, thank God. I mean, I still would have been like, oh, thank God if I was just sitting in a cage when he showed up. Because, I'm imagining the worst. I was imagining that scenario happening. I didn't need it to happen for me to be like, oh, thank God, Akechi, I love you. Pendleton, how dare you? This was now you crossed the line, Pendleton. Now I'm mad at you again. Get away from her at once. I knew that silver-framed face all too well. His eyes were narrowed, his form poised. Akechi! Fuck yeah. My relief at seeing him there overwhelmed me. They should have given us a CG of him just being all noble and glorious, showing up to, save us. Miss Whitley. What? I feared for a moment I might stop breathing entirely. Is he holding me? She's like, are you holding me? What? Akechi staggered toward me, as though momentarily taking leave of his balance, but wrapped his arms around me, catching himself. It was all so sudden that I was fixed to the spot. Uh, uh, Akechi? I'm so sorry, Spacey. Just seeing you unharmed, I felt such a weight lifted from me. Oh! That's not what I wanted to do. Where's the, there we go. Look, oh. Look at how precious he is. He's like, oh my God. And she's like, I just, what? I'm holding you. Wait, I'm comforting you now? I was on the, it's adorable. Anyway, Akechi? I'm so glad you're all right. He seems to be in pain. And this smell. Akechi's breathing came ragged and uneven, and the scent of crystal clinging about him was stronger still than that of the guard he had struck down with the back of his blade. You're like, you are seriously poisoned fucking with drugs, and you can't. Wow. Wow. And Pendleton let this happen. I'm just saying. I still love Pendleton, but a little disappointed in him right now. Seeing him in such obvious agony drained the color from my face, although he did do this. I feel like he did this to let Akechi have a win, so. Alright. We'll forgive you. Akechi, what happened? After defeating perhaps 10 guards, I tried to stop the children. Our room is some manner of occultist circle. The children! Memories of that lurid sight I had witnessed just before my capture came flooding back. After I stopped them, Tashar, it was some kind of drug, blocked the impact with sword, but you're the last person I wanted to see me like this. A disgraceful mess. Akechi, you're super drugged and you saved my fucking ass. Like, this is not disgraceful. This is fucking impressive. In the end, I'm still the pitiful excuse for a man I've ever been. Oh, he's so precious. Don't you love? I love him so much. He's so precious. Though I couldn't see his expression, the trembling in his voice sounded as though he was in great pain, anguish, both physical and mental. You're no such thing, Akechi. Akechi, perhaps in a lucid moment of awareness, released his hold on me, but overcome by our reunion, I clung to him, keeping him near. You're not pitiful at all. I've never heard a more preposterous statement. Miss Whitley. Besides, you yourself have said that it isn't right to make light of oneself. Too choked up to continue, I simply clung to him in silence. Akechi was a man ever ready to run to the aid of someone in need, heedless of the danger to himself, and right now was no exception. He's so goddamn pretty too, but I could never regard someone so full of kindness as pitiful. And I wish I could convey those very thoughts to him, but the words caught in my throat, and only tears poured forth once more. I want to make fun of her for crying at fucking everything, but I cry at everything, so I legit feel this. The sight of his face is as much of a relief to me as mine must have been to him. Not yet wanting to separate myself from that moment of relief, I tightened my arms around his chest. Following our reunion, a guard shows up and is like, and I'm just gonna, you good? I'm gonna lock you in here, cool. Like, ha 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 ha, idiots. We availed ourselves of the keys the unconscious guard had in his possession, and freed from ourselves, we tended to Akechi as he rested in an area well hidden from view. This is not the place to rest, but okay. Are you thirsty? I'm fine, thank you. I feel much better now. It must have been some drug to take such a toll on you. Quaffing the water I had with me seemed to have done much to aid in Akechi's recovery. Quaffing? The water I had with me seemed to have done much. Okay, I don't know. I overheard something from the guards here before the two of you arrived. They were discussing how soon all the children here will be taken to Hong Kong to serve as soldiers for their organization, and that this whole underground warren was to be set ablaze to dispose of any evidence as well. So for the children's sake, in addition to our own, we need to escape and let Scotland Yard know what's going on. Kobayashi, I'm afraid I still lack my full adroitness. If I might ask you... say no more. I'll lead the way. Spacey will be there to care for you every step of the way. Care for me? You heard me. Spacey, he's in your hands now. All right. Be like, all right. I mean, sure, I can do that. Yes. What? Nothing. Miss Whitley. Akechi? I have something I need to say to you later. So... Hey, Akechi! Don't go giving her any of that when we make it through this battle, let's get married nonsense. It's bad luck. He's like... Ah. Now you just made him faint and I gotta carry his ass. What the fuck? We haven't any idea how long we've got until they set this place ablaze. Escape is our top priority. In my current condition, I can hardly tell you to leave things to me, but... But what? Akechi gently took my hand in his. Oh. At the very least, allow me to take your hand. Thank you. I tightened my grip, feeling the warmth of his palm. Oh, he's like, I'm holding a girl's hand. You've already touched my boob, so, I mean, the hand thing is totally fine. I know that was an accident, but it's still funny. He's like, I can't believe I'm holding your hand. You've touched my boob before. Ah! He just, like, passes out. He's like, now you made him faint. I know. We're all gonna die here. And so we began our escape. The surface seemed far, however, and our current plight would not be so easily resolved. Countless children, their minds muddled by the fumes of the cult's drug, streamed out to block our way, one after another. Had it been members of the organization standing in our way, the matter would have been a simpler one, but the children were merely victims, innocents brought there against their will, given drugs and forced to fight. Both Akechi and Kobayashi refused to harm them, making their task all the more difficult. I mean, you can still knock them out, it's minor harm, but, you know, I'm just saying. Finally, with great trouble, we finally reached the staircase. We finally reached the staircase. Finally, we finally reached the staircase. Didn't need that in there twice. Anyway, we finally reached the staircase that led to the surface. But at that moment, a terrible sight greeted us. Dejar. Akechi froze in horror, his gaze focused on a single figure ahead. That's... Perhaps addled by the drug or in the black grip of despair, a small boy stood holding a knife turned upon himself, hands shaking. It's not Rick! It's Rick. Oh! Oh, motherfucker. Oh, I bet it's Rick, and also this. The nobles had thrown the child a knife and made sport of pressuring him to take his own life in exchange for money. And no reasonable person would blame Akechi for being incensed. But his master drove Akechi out of the only home he had ever known, with the words, "You're no longer my student." His fate was decided. Akechi hasn't said a word about his master since we arrived, but deep beneath the surface, I think he's still dwelling on all that happened. And he's gonna relive it. All the other children nearby seemed in such a trance that they paid the boy no heed. Hurry, you two! Even as Kobayashi's words landed on Akechi's ears, I was already in motion. What? I relinquished my grasp on Akechi's hand and thrust him away with all the strength I could muster. I made a dash toward the boy, who seemed poised to take his own life at any moment. Miss Whitley! Throwing my arms around the boy, I cradled him at my embrace. The knife clattered to the floor, releasing from his small, shaking hands. Uh, uh, it's all right. Everything is going to be better now. My head swam. Perhaps they were burning an even more potent form of their drug. Or perhaps they had already set the fire to destroy the evidence gathered here. Whatever it might have been, with the boy still clutched to my breast, my vision blurred and consciousness fled from me once more. The last I remembered before the world went black was someone calling my name, as from a great distance. This is okay, I know this is shorter than normal. I was going to keep going, but this is the perfect place to stop because we were already in the black magic cult's trap. I mean, that sounds legit. So I get, did we just start that chapter in this? I can't remember, but anyway. But anyway. Wait, did we get kidnapped again? Well, it is confrontation at sea. Oh my god! Ah, shit, we were almost free. We got kidnapped again. Anyway, we'll find out in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.